There's no resource to help with the idea that I'm still married to a man who's going through divorces.
Oh, Mom, I didn't even...
No one saw it coming. Not his family, not his ex-wives. Not even his loyal fan base who had stood by him through years of unraveling marriages and broken promises. But in a move that sent shockwaves through the world of sister wives, Kody Brown has officially remarried, her name, Sara William. A name previously unknown to the cameras, unknown to the chaos, unknown even to the emotional battlefield that is the Brown family. And yet, in the blink of an eye, she stood at the altar next to a man whose love story has been written and rewritten in public for over a decade. This wasn't just a new chapter, felt like a whole new book, as whispers of the wedding leaked. Across social media, fans were scrambling not just for confirmation, but for context. Who is Sara William? Where did she come from? How did she manage to step into a life tangled in decades of emotional wreckage and somehow become Mrs. Kody Brown? Photos haven't been officially released, but blurry leaked images were enough to trigger an online frenzy. Kody smiling wider than he had in years. Sara radiant, mysterious, untouched by the public judgment that follows every move the Browns make. But while the world was busy speculating about the new bride, someone else's heartbreak was unfolding in silence. Meri Brown, once Kody's first and most loyal wife, had no idea this was coming. A source close to her said she first saw the wedding photos online. She didn't cry right away. At first, she just stared, frozen. Then came the breakdown, quiet, shaking sobs that refused to be stopped. This wasn't just about Kody moving on. This was about closure that was never offered, a wound that was never stitched. For Meri, seeing Kody with another woman smiling like the past never happened wasn't just painful, which cruel. After everything they had been through, after everything she had stayed silent about. But just when everyone expected Meri to retreat into the shadows again, something wild happened. She didn't spiral. She didn't post cryptic quotes about heartbreak or betrayal. Instead, just days after the wedding news broke, she was spotted on a weekend getaway with close friends, smiling, laughing, free. And then came the Instagram story that turned everything upside down. Sometimes letting go is the beginning of something beautiful. 7 words that said more than any interview ever could. Fans instantly knew this was Meri's quiet clapback. Not angry, not bitter, just done. The internet, as always, exploded. Some cheered for Kody, calling it a fresh start. Others dragged him through the mud, accusing him of abandoning the women who helped him build his empire. But amidst the noise, one question kept echoing louder than the rest. Who is Sara William? How did she not just enter Kody's world, but conquer it? Reports suggest she's an entrepreneur, confident, independent, and completely removed from the toxic history of the Brown family. No ties to polygamy, no reality TV baggage. Just a woman who apparently saw something in Kody that no one else could anymore. But not everyone is buying it. Longtime viewers know the Kody Brown pattern. The grand declarations, the public spiritual awakenings, the endless blame games, and now the Batman complex. That's right, during the tell-all, Kody compared himself to a DC superhero villain. If you don't die the hero, you live long enough to become the villain, he said, as if his downfall was poetic rather than self-inflicted. The internet collectively rolled its eyes. This wasn't a misunderstood anti-hero. This was a man who burned every bridge and blamed the wind for the fire. Kody wasn't done. Talked about being vilified, how his mouth runs fluidly, and how hard it is to be accountable in passionate moments. Passionate, maybe? Butte accountable? That's a stretch. Fans weren't having it. The man who once preached family unity was now flipping metaphoric middle fingers and quoting comic book villains. "I love this woman," he said of Robyn, "and I want peace in this relationship." But his version of peace, it's come at the cost of 3 marriages and a public image that's in freefall. And yet, here he is, married again, starting over, rewriting history once more, this time with a new leading lady. But as Kody plays the tortured soul in a Batman movie that no one else is watching, the women he left behind are finding their own identities. Janelle compared herself to characters in Fried Green Tomatoes. Christine is thriving in a brand new relationship, and Meri. She may finally be closing the book. Not just on Kody, but on a version of herself that waited too long for someone who never really showed up.
I know you're hurting, but you don't want to be this guy.
But I'm struggling
I text one of my kids and they said,
Meri Brown was no longer the woman who waited. It's no longer the quiet, heartbroken shadow standing at the edge of Kody's chaos. She had chosen to remake her life, seize her voice, and find meaning in the broken pieces. In an interview that stunned even longtime fans, Meri opened up about her emotional transformation and compared her journey to that of Cheryl Strayed, the wild-hearted woman portrayed by Reese Witherspoon in Wild. It's this beautiful story, she said softly, of so many experiences, lots of ugly, painful, and heavy parts, but also moments of beauty and strength. And in the end, it's a story that makes you who you are. That wasn't just a metaphor. That was Meri drawing a line in the sand. She was done being a footnote. In Kody's journey, she was writing her own. Christine, too, found herself through the storm. When asked what film best represented her life, she laughed and chose Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's just chaos, and we're busy constantly, but I love it. That one-line half-joke, half-truth captured the messy, magical transformation Christine had gone through. From neglected wife to empowered woman. From sadness to strength. From living in Kody's shadow to dancing in her own light. She wasn't surviving anymore. She was thriving. And then there was Janelle Brown, the woman who had always been the calm in the storm. The practical one. The one who kept the books balanced while the family unraveled. Even her patience had a breaking point. For years, fans watched Janelle play peacemaker, sacrificing her own happiness in the name of unity. She had always believed she could still have a friendship with Kody, but that illusion shattered during the tell-all. At first, she gave a polite answer. I could still be friends with Kody, she said. I never really had a relationship with Robyn. But as she spoke, the years of pain started leaking through the cracks in her voice. I don't have any hate, she admitted, but I don't really want to know them. I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm not going to be buddies with them or go to lunch. And then came the most raw moment of all. When asked about the possibility of deep love returning, Janelle didn't flinch. I really just don't like them, she said. I don't want to know them. I just don't like them. It was stunning in its simplicity. No theatrics, no bitterness. Just the truth, spoken from a place of absolute peace. And why should she care? Janelle has started over in North Carolina. Running a farm with her daughter, she no longer lives in Flagstaff. No longer has to tiptoe around Kody's ego or Robyn's crocodile tears. Her children are grown. Her energy is hers now. She's not wasting another second on a man who sees himself as a victim in a world he destroyed with his own hands. Kody, of course, is too wrapped in his self-mythology to understand any of this. He keeps painting himself as the misunderstood anti-hero, the Batman of his own crumbling franchise. But fans aren't buying the act anymore. During the tell-all, he quoted comic book villains again. If you don't die, the hero. You live long enough to become the villain, as if reciting a line could justify the pain he's caused, as if quoting fiction could redeem a man who abandoned real women and real children for an illusion of control. Fans are exhausted. They watch the lies pile up. Episode after episode, Kody and Robyn spun stories that directly contradicted past footage. Viewers began creating video montages comparing their statements over the years, proof that the so-called love story between Kody and Robyn was built not on faith or family, but fabrication. Even during the tell-all, When pressed with real questions, Robyn dodged like a politician. She told Kody before filming, "I'd rather have a root canal." That summed it up. Painful truth or actual dentistry, Robyn would rather pick the latter. And Janelle, she saw through all of it. She no longer wanted friendship. No superficial brunches. No fake smiles for the cameras. She had mourned the loss of her marriage, of her time, of her faith in Kody. But she wasn't mourning anymore. She was moving forward. When asked whether she would have married Kody if she'd known then what she knows now, her answer was devastating. "If I had a year with Kody," she said, "I don't think I would have married him. Honestly." That sentence was a funeral bell for everything they once shared. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn sat comfortably in denial, blaming everyone but themselves. Kody, ever the showman, pretended to be surprised by his fall from grace, but his ex-wives weren't surprised anymore. They were just done. Kody and Robyn may have each other, but even their union feels haunted by everything they've destroyed. To reach it, the foundation isn't love, it's loss. They lost Meri's loyalty, Janelle's strength, Christine's joy, and they don't even seem to know what they've done. But Christine, she's already turned her pain into power. Leaving Kody in 2021, she didn't look back. She built a new life in Utah, lost weight, launched her social media brand, and even found love again with David Woolley. A man who didn't just say the right things but actually showed up. In 2023, they tied the knot. But unlike her wedding, with Kody, this one didn't feel like an obligation or a performance. It felt like home. By 2025, Christine wasn't just a former sister wife. She was a businesswoman with rental properties, an author, a traveler, and a mom enjoying life again. She gave fans a tour of her Airbnb in Hurricane, Utah, excitedly promoting her property and offering extra stays as a thank you to those who had supported her. It wasn't just about business, it was about freedom. It's about creating a space she owned where no one else could take the narrative away from her again. Her bond with David grew stronger by the day. In May 2025, she posted joyful photos of their adventures with her youngest daughter. Truly, they laughed together, explored together, and even shared a hilarious video of David running through Goblin Valley doing an antelope impression. It was the kind of joy that can't be faked. The kind Kody had never known how to nurture. Christine was finally living a life where love didn't hurt. But she didn't stop there. Like Janelle and Meri, she found her voice and she wrote it down. Her upcoming book, Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom, is set to release in September 2025. On the cover, she wears a red blazer, elegant and powerful. No longer a woman pleading for attention, but one commanding the room. She wrote, "Guess what? We have a cover for my book now." The red outfit won by a landslide. And with that, she reminded fans just how far she had come from silence to storytelling. From being overlooked to being heard. Christine Brown's presence in season 19 of Sister Wives had started to shrink, like the last flicker of a candle before it burns out completely. And maybe that was the plan. Maybe she had already decided her story didn't belong in that world anymore, a world still spinning around Kody Brown's delusions. Her voice had once carried weight in the family. But with her life rebuilt in Utah alongside David Woolley, Christine was no longer a supporting act in Kody's unraveling narrative. She had crafted a life rooted in peace, not performance. As her absence grew on the show, so did the possibility that she might never return. There was no appetite left in her to sit beside Robyn, to force smiles through thinly veiled contempt, or to relive the pain that Kody never seemed to notice. Meanwhile, Janelle and Meri had begun their own emotional exodus, not just from the marriages, but from the spotlight itself. Slowly, quietly, they were detaching from Kody, from the production, from the game. It was the beginning of the end for Sister Wives, not with a bang, but with a series of soul-crushing silences. But Robyn Brown, she wasn't going quietly. In a shocking twist from the tell-all interviews, Robyn, usually guarded, composed, deflective, finally snapped back. It was sparked by a single phrase, one that cut her deeper than she wanted to admit: sacred cow. The term dropped bluntly by Janelle Brown suggested that Robyn had become untouchable above criticism, above accountability. When the host Sukanya Krishnan asked Robyn if the label bothered her, Robyn let out a strained laugh. "No, I don't know. Whatever, I don't care." But her eyes told a different story. Her smirk trembled. Her voice cracked. She cared. Oh, she cared deeply. The insult stung because it was true. Robyn had been protected by Kody, by editing, by silence. And now, finally, the other women were calling it out. Janelle didn't flinch when asked if she saw a future friendship with Robyn or Kody. "I just don't like them," she said with a shrug, as if she were naming a favorite color. It wasn't cruel, it was final. The weight of decades had lifted, and all that remained was truth. Christine echoed that clarity when she looked straight into the camera and said, "If 3 of his wives leave him, maybe, just maybe, the problem is the man." Viewers lit up. Comment sections exploded. Fans, exhausted from years of manipulation and revisionist history, finally saw the scales balancing. But Robyn? She appeared checked out, disengaged. Her glassy smile and clipped answers felt like a woman trying to disappear mid-conversation. "Now Robyn doesn't care," one commenter wrote. "Guess her job is done here. Family destroyed, check." But nothing cut deeper than the name no one wanted to say: Garrison, Janelle's beloved son. A boy caught in the crossfire of dysfunction, a life lost, a memory sacred. And Robyn, who had once wept at the idea of family, now couldn't even muster sincerity. One viewer wrote, would she still be laughing if they asked her about Garrison Brown? The silence from Robyn spoke louder than any answer. And yet, even as the emotional toll unraveled on screen, the bizarre reality of Kody and Robyn's life behind the scenes continued to baffle fans. The spotlight shifted from drama to decor, a strange window into their private world. The couple's former home, a luxurious property in Flagstaff, became an internet sensation when real estate photos revealed the peculiar choices within. Chief among them, a seashell and gemstone sculpture hanging in the entryway like a monument to confusion. It wasn't just the sculpture's loud, chaotic design that caught attention. It was what it represented. On a long rectangular board, expensive stones like amethyst and tanzanite were arranged haphazardly alongside empty seashells. Some called it bold, most called it tacky. But beneath the surface, fans began digging. Amethysts are known to ward off negative spiritual energy. Tanzanites represent balance, something Libras like Robyn are eternally chasing. The shells, according to various cultural beliefs, symbolize transformation, growth, and rebirth. Together, the message was clear. If unspoken, Robyn and Kody were desperate to cleanse their past and display it as art. And yet the attempt at symbolism felt hollow. Reddit threads mocked the decor choices. Some fans speculated Robyn had gone overboard in an attempt to project an image of wisdom and beauty, when in reality, the art reflected exactly what they had become. Too much, too forced, too lost in the illusion. They didn't do a thing. To the house, one fan posted, just added purple to the bedroom and slapped random expensive things on every wall. Purple, Robyn's favorite color, dominated their bedroom, much like she had come to dominate Kody's heart. Their storyline, their lives. The seashells, hollow, like the promises Kody had made to Meri. The gemstones, beautiful but cold, just like the man who once called himself the father of 18 but forgot how to be one. And then came the moment no one expected. Kody, once arrogant and unshakable, began to change. Slowly, grudgingly. Maybe it was Garrison's death. Hey, maybe it was the public backlash. Or maybe even Kody Brown, in all his delusion, finally saw the truth. He granted Meri and Janelle each $35,000 when the Coyote Pass property sold, a gesture that surprised everyone. Was it guilt, redemption, or simply pressure? No one could say. But it was the first crack in the armor. Still, fans weren't convinced. His newfound gentleness felt like damage control, not growth. His new home with Robyn, though luxurious, felt more like a bunker than a nest. They were isolated, surrounded by expensive things, but haunted by broken relationships. The infamous bird of paradise sculpture remained, a metaphor hiding in plain sight. Beauty without warmth, structure without life. In that house, they smiled for cameras, staged moments, and avoided hard questions. But outside its walls, the world was changing. Christine's book was launching. Meri's retreat business was expanding. Janelle had started over on a farm with her daughter. All three women were no longer sister wives. They were survivors, authors of their own futures. Forces of quiet revolution. Kody and Robyn had each other, but the world they fought to protect, the one they tried to manipulate, had moved on without them. And what of Sara William, Kody's mysterious new wife? She remained largely silent in public. No interviews, no statements, just one blurry photo at the altar and whispers about her past. But that silence only added to the intrigue. Some say she was Kody's last attempt to feel like a man of power, to marry someone outside the wreckage and pretend it had all been worth it. Others believed Sara had no idea what she was walking into, that the man standing beside her wasn't starting over. He was escaping accountability. But the truth: Sara William might be the final test. Not of Kody's capacity to love, but of his capacity to change. And if history is any indicator, that test will fail. Because no new wife, no seashell sculpture. No Talal defense can hide the fact that Kody Brown destroyed the family he once claimed to cherish. And while Robyn clings to her crystals and Kody recites Batman quotes about villains and heroes, the real story is unfolding outside their walls. In Utah, in North Carolina, in every town where women watched sister wives and whispered to themselves, "I'd leave too." Christine, Janelle, Meri, they didn't just leave Kody, they left the lie. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most powerful story sister wives ever told.